Hello Rivermen and SPHL fans, and welcome to the video. And as always, thank you for watching. It is very much appreciated. Your support is always welcomed and appreciated with me. In today's video, we're kind of going to touch up and check in with the Peoria Rivermen in their off-season moves. Maybe get into a little bit of stats with a couple of new Peoria Rivermen that have been signed. Just briefly remind people of the protected list. We do have 7 people now signed with the Rivermen for this upcoming season. And it's looking like a good collection of guys that we got so far. Really can't complain on who we've added to the roster thus far. Getting right into it, like I said, we're going to review the protected list real quick. Not going to go too much into it. Just go over the names that were put on there. So the Rivermen have protected forwards Garrett Devine, Mike Gillette, Colin Diakawa, Jordan Ernst, Griffin Fox, Michael McChesney, Dylan Massey, and Connor Smool. On defense, they protected Kyler Fenton, Tyler Ryder, Josh Martin, and Gunnar Moore. And the goalie that was protected was Jack the Boss Boston, reigning goalie of the year. And we'll kind of get into that here in a minute. And again, it's a nice group of players on the protection list. So far signed off that list is Alec Bear and Kyler Fenton. And Tyler Ryder. Again, 3 great players. I really loved how Tyler Ryder played last year with us. And he had a great shot as a D-man. He could definitely put the puck in the net and has a great shot. And he's a good defender and pretty quick. And a good skater. Alec Bear, our returning captain. It's always great to see him. And Kyler Fenton, a prolific defensive player in the SPHL. Always welcome sight. Also, we've added Caden Cahill to the mix and Connor McAnanama, as well as Will Reddick and Cooper Board. Now, we'll get into some of these guys' stats, namely Connor Mack and Caden Cahill, and we'll kind of review the 2 new people that will be in a Riverman uniform, Will Reddick and Cooper Board, and I'm very excited to have these 2 gentlemen join the Peoria Riverman roster. I think they're going to contribute greatly, and I'll let you know why here in a second. So, first and foremost, we're going to talk about goaltending with the Rivermen. Last few seasons, well, more than a few seasons, I mean, dating back to even Jack Barry and Eric Levine, Rivermen has had a great pairing to anchor this roster. You know, with those 2, Nick Latinovich as well, Jack Boston, Connor Mack, Colby Muse. Just a great list of goaltenders that came through the pipeline in Peoria. Past 2 seasons, Rivermen goalies have won goaltender of the year. And prior to those 2 winning, Nick Latinovich was runner-up for goalie of the year, losing out to Bulls goaltender. Should have looked up his name. His name's escaping me. I'm sorry. But he was runner-up. Probably should have won goalie of the year that year, but ended up finishing second in the voting. Colby Muse then won Goalie of the Year next year, and then Jack Boston won Goalie of the Year. Hayden Stewart, that's the name. Hayden Stewart won over Nick Latinovich, and then it was Colby Muse and Jack Boston. Interesting note, never heard about this anywhere in any league at any level before, but our two reigning Goalie of the Year award winners were not our starters in the playoff. The year previous, Colby Muse had an illness and didn't play a single game. It was Nick Latinovich, and we got bounced out of the second round by Evansville Thunderbolts, and then he went on to Fayetteville Marksmen. Jack Boston wasn't hurt at all. I still disagree with it. I'm sorry, but I do. It's not often you bench your Goalie of the Year award winner, but that's exactly what Coach Trudell did in favor of the experienced Nick Latinovich. And Nick, to his credit, played very well in the playoffs up until about the final 3 games. You know, a lot of Rivermen fans get upset with me and think I blame him for the Rivermen losing 3 straight, and I don't. I think he shares responsibility for us losing 3 straight, the Thunderbolts, obviously, but I don't completely put the blame on Nick. It's just strange to me that he decided to bench Jack when Jack was hot. And that's why he won Goalie of the Year. He's been great for us since joining the Rivermen. And I thought he did more than enough to earn that spot in the playoffs. Maybe he plays well if he gets that nod. Out of the 12 games played, he played a game and a half in the playoffs. He did not fare so well in his Game 3 start against Knoxville Ice Bears. I think he gave up like 3 goals in the first period. And then he came in and relieved Nick Latinovich in Game 5 of the SPHL Finals and gave up a couple of goals there as well. Probably gave up a goal he probably should have had while in relief as well. So, not the best showing, but I think he would have been better had he started from the beginning. Like I said, Nick had great playoffs. I'm not going to take that away. Just he wasn't the same after Game 1 in Evansville. He gradually went downhill, and to be quite frank, he had an awful Game 5. It was by far his worst start of the playoffs when we needed him the most. But anyway, to get into Connor Mack, Jack or Nick have not been signed. Connor Mack did sign, and going off of his interview from the Peoria Journal-Star, he looks to stay in net for Peoria. He said he wanted to be in net for the Rivermen and raise a cup here in Peoria. And I like the sound of that, obviously. And I hope for his sake he stays in Peoria a full season. He's a very young goaltender, and I think it would benefit him in his career to spend a full season with the Rivermen and really improve and work on his skills. He's still growing as a young goaltender. He's a phenomenal goalie. I think he will end up having a career in the ECHL before it's all said and done. He might even only spend this 1 year with the Rivermen, but I think it would benefit him greatly giving the Rivermen a full season, especially if he can win a championship here. He's had 3 pro years mainly in the FPHL with the Black Bears. Some of his credentials: he's a very decorated goalie in his young career. He's played with, in my opinion, the best organization and the FPHL being the Black Bears. I think they're the cream of the crop, number one top tier team in that league. And has 3 cups with him, 2 as a starter. He's won goalie of the year and playoff MVP with the Black Bears. And he's got video game numbers, video game stats. It's unreal, some of his stat lines with the Black Bears, and he even has a pretty good stat line with the Rivermen, in all honesty. I think no matter, unless Jack Boston re-signs, he might have a little competition for that starting role, but other than that, the net belongs to Connor McAnanama, in my opinion. Even if Nick decides to re-sign, it's going to be in a backup role to Connor McAnanama, which Nick will still get his starts, don't get me wrong. But I don't think you can make the same mistake 3 times in a row and start Nick Latinovich in a playoff setting, benching the other 2, like he benched the other 2. I think that would be a great mistake. I think Connor McAnanama is more athletic and just better skilled overall, more technical than Nick Latinovich, younger. I wouldn't understand why you would start a goalie like McAnanama over Latinovich, but he's got 127 season games with the Black Bears, 15 playoff games with them. His season wins, he has 62 season wins with the Black Bears, only 8 regulation losses with the Black Bears. So he's 62-8. I'd say that's a video game stat line already. He has 7 shutouts with the Black Bears and 5 assists with the Black Bears as well. He has saved 1,914 shots and has only allowed 170 goals. Let that sink in for a moment. Nearly 2,000 saves, only allowing 170 goals with the Black Bears. Video game type numbers. Like I said, he's had 3 seasons with the Black Bears. He's played at least 30 games in each season with them, I think. Well, no, I think in one of them he had like 29 or something like that starts. But basically 30 starts in each. He's only been a starter for 2 playoffs. This previous season he didn't start in net for the Black Bears when they raised their cup. He was still on the team, still gets credit for the cup. He had 30 games played with the Black Bears, 6 with the Rivermen, so he still gets credited for that cup that they won the previous year. But his goals against average with the Black Bears, the 3 seasons he's been there, 2.39, 2.08, and 2.38. So not even above 2.50. So again, just all 3 years, an outstanding stat line for goals against average. His save percentage in his 3 seasons with Black Bears is a .919, a .922, and a .909 save percentage. Again, above 90% all 3 years. He's never been below 90% in his career, which is, again, amazing. With the Rivermen last year, like I said, he had 6 games played with the Rivermen. He had a 1.41 goals against average, a save percentage of .953, 163 saves, only 8 goals allowed. again, just, in a small sample size he had with the Rivermen. Just a great stat line to have. I don't think he gave up more than 2 goals in any game. And I think in like 3 or 4 of them, he only gave up 1 goal. Didn't get that elusive shutout with the Rivermen, but I mean, he played phenomenal when he did play here in Peoria. And wait till I read his playoff record. Yeah, he's got 15 games played, and like I said, he only started 2 out of 3 that they were in. His record is 14-1 out of the 15 games he's played. In his first season, he was 7-0. In his second season, he was 7-1. So only 1 loss in his playoff career out of 15 games played. His goals against average the first year was a 2.51. His save percentage was a .925. He didn't have any shutouts. 223 saves, 18 goals allowed. A great playoff stat line. His second year was twice as good. I mean, one of the best playoff stat lines I've ever seen a goalie have, really, in all honesty. And this was the year he won playoff MVP as well. He had a goals against average of .88, so it didn't even average a goal a game. Save percentage of .970, 4 shutouts. Amazingly, he had 223 saves as well that second year, only allowing 7 goals in the playoffs. So out of 8 games, he allowed 7 goals. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. So, needless to say, welcome aboard to the Rivermen, Connor McAnanima. I can't wait to see you in action again in a larger capacity starting. Like I said, so many scenarios can happen. I believe the only way there's a competition for a starting role is if Jack Boston returns to the Rivermen lineup. Other than that, I think it's Connor McAnanima's net all year and throughout the playoffs. That's if Nick Latinovich comes back or not. I'm perfectly fine with moving on from Nick. Can't thank him enough for what he's done for the Rivermen while in Peoria. Big fan of Nick Latinovich. He's been a great goalie while here. And I have the utmost respect and gratitude for his service. It's nothing personal against him, what I'm saying, whatsoever. Like I said, I am a big fan of Nick Latinovich. I just think we got a better goalie in Connor McAnanima. Younger goalie. Sky is the limit for this guy. I really want to see what this kid can do with the full season as a starter in the SPHL with the Rivermen. I think he can do some eye-opening things with this squad, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. Definitely can't wait till October, which October will be here according to the Rivermen website in 7 weeks, 5 days, 20 hours, 5 minutes, and 6 seconds. We'll have a puck drop for the Rivermen. There's a game before the 17th. The season actually opens October 16th, but the Rivermen play October 17th. And I'm just, like I said, extremely excited. So now getting into it, like I said, we do got a return, a very important return to the Rivermen lineup. His best pro numbers have come when on the Peoria Rivermen, and that's Caden Cahill. I think this is a very key addition to the Rivermen this upcoming season, a very welcomed addition as well, especially with some of the turnover we're going to have. A player like Caden Cahill is definitely wanted and needed, and he is very beloved here in Peoria. Fan favorite to the max. His best, like I said, seasons have come when playing for the Peoria Rivermen, and I think a lot of that has to do with his supporting cast and teammates, the fans here, and even Coach Trudell, especially Coach Trudell, who always seems to get the best out of players and knows how to use them. He had a decent year with Pensacola Ice Flyers, actually. 14 goals in 44 games, 9 assists, 23 points. So, again, it wasn't a bad year by any means. But he's had better years with Rivermen in his 2 full seasons with them. He's got 2 rings with the Rivermen as well. He had 44 games at 1 point, 13 goals, 23 assists for 36 points. That was the year after Rivermen won their first cup. He only had 8 games played when they won their first cup. And then the following year, when he played a full season and played a full playoff, and they raised the cup, he had 55 games played, a career high of 15 goals, a career high of 28 assists, and a career high of 43 points. So again, he played great. And he was a plus 12 as well. In the playoffs, he had 6 games played. He had a big goal against, actually, the Pensacola Ice Flyers in Pensacola to help get a Game 1 win. He had an assist and 2 points in those playoffs. Like I said, the best stat line he's got is with Pensacola outside of Rivermen. In Fayetteville, he had 11 games in his first stint, 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. And in 49 games played, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, and a minus 14. And a large part was marksmen just misused him. They did not use him correctly. They did not know how to use him. They didn't know how to bring the best out of them and put them in a position to be successful. And a big part of that is coaching. And that coach is no longer coaching there in Fayetteville. But he had no clue who he had on his hands or how to use them. Probably seen the ice the least amount in Fayetteville. Didn't play on the power play as much. I do know for a fact it's 100% true, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you how I know that, but I guarantee you it's 100% true. They put him on the IR, 14-day IR, and he wasn't injured. I don't understand how they didn't know how to use a player like Caden Cahill, but I'm glad to have him back here in Peoria, and I think he could possibly have a career year coming up here in Peoria, and I can't wait to see him back in that Rivermen uniform. I'm so excited for that. Like I said, welcome back, Alaskan Assassin. We love you here in Peoria, and we want you to be successful, and we hope to see a career year out of you and hopefully another cup win. Moving on to our 2 new signees. These guys straight from college, and they have great numbers when they played in college. I'm going to read off their numbers and tell you a little bit about them. Again, that's Will Reddick and Cooper Board. This will be their rookie seasons in pro hockey. We'll start with Will Reddick, who's a center. Always need good centers, so I'm really excited for Will Reddick. He spent 4 seasons at Plymouth State University. In those 4 seasons, he's recorded 72 goals, 85 assists, in 97 games played, so that's 157 points. That's a hell of a stat line for him in college. I think he ranks second in that school for most goals scored. Again, some of his attributes: prolific goal scorer and playmaker, and he's going to make a fine addition in this lineup. I think this is a player who thrives in Trudell's system, and I think he's going to play great here in Peoria. So, welcome to Peoria, Will Reddick. I can't wait to see you in action, especially with numbers like that. Then we go on to Cooper Board, a left wing, and he was the team captain in Westfield State University, played there 4 seasons. He had 39 goals, 40 assists for 79 points in 102 games played there. Some of his attributes: he was a team captain, so that leadership is nice quality to have. They highlighted his speed, so a very speedy skater, and clutch. He had some clutch goals in the playoffs as well. So, again, those are great attributes to have coming to a team like Peoria. That leadership skill, being a great skater and a fast skater, and having that clutch ability as well. So, again, welcome Cooper Board to the Peoria Rivermen. Can't wait to see you in action. So, again, just to review who we have signed so far: Alec Bear, Connor McAnanama, Kyler Fenton, Tyler Ryder, Caden Cahill, Will Reddick, and Cooper Board. And I think that's a great start. I know I might get questions about, do you think Jordan Ernst will return, or Garrett Devine, or Michael McChesney, Terry Ryder, or Josh Martin? I have no clue. I hope a good portion of those. Colin Diakawa, I hope someone like him returns. Diakawa was a great talent. I can tell he's an ECHL talent. I can very easily see him trying to make an ECHL roster and being successful in that. Connor Smool, I'd like to see him in his sophomore year, what he can do. Of course, I would like to see players like Garrett Devine, Griffin Fox, Mike Gillette, Michael McChesney. Yeah, of course I want to see them back. But again, these are players that can definitely make the ECHL, especially Griffin Fox and Mike Gillette and Garrett Devine. Michael McChesney, I don't know if he gives us another season. I would love him. I would love McChesney to give us another season. I think he can be capable of big things in this next upcoming season. So we'll just have to see. And I know Griffin Fox has signed to play, I think, in Australia. Don't know if we'll see him at the beginning of the season, but is it possible to see him at some point? Sure it is. Don't know if we will, but he would be a welcomed addition. Same with like Dylan Massey. Of course, all these players will be welcome additions. With a player like Jordan Ernst, his heart's in Peoria. He's said that numerous times publicly. He loves playing in Peoria. That's where he feels at home. That's where he's most happy and at his best. If he's not playing in Peoria in the upcoming seasoning, I think it's fair to say he is probably going to retire. He's got plenty of gas in the tank. He most definitely can play another season. He could play up in the ECHL if he wanted to. He's definitely got the talent for that. It's up to him. He'll always be a welcome addition for sure. And I will welcome him with open arms if he comes back. If not, I wish him well. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. We might see quite a few new names come through the pipeline. But I have full confidence in Jean-Guy Trudel to recruit the talent and get the talent to sign here and get the best out of them. That's what he does. I think he's proven that since he's been here. His teams have never finished below third place, making the playoffs every year. He's got a few rings to show for it. I think they're going to be hungry next year, to win 2 games in the final and lose the next 3, being so close to that 3rd ring. The returners who do return, I think are going to be more hungry than ever to finish the job. And I'm here for it. No matter who we see in that lineup, I have the utmost confidence and belief and faith in the Rivermen and Coach Trudel to do what they do best, and that's put a winning product on the ice and a playoff contender. With that, I have no doubt, and we got a great start. Like I said, defense and goaltending win championships. That's what's helped Evansville win back-to-back championships more than anything. Kyler Fenton, Tyler Ryder are great pieces to build around. A captain like Alec Bear is a great piece to return and help lead the team. And then a goalie like Connor McAnanima. We know that net's secure with him playing. So, again, it's a great start. The return of Caden Cahill, the 2 college kids that are coming in. Like I said, I love, the names that have came across as signed. Want to see more in the upcoming days and weeks here. I really want to see this roster start to fill out. But I like the direction we're heading in for this upcoming season. Like I said, some names might change, but I think we'll more or less get the same results, and that's a very competitive team that's ready to contend in the playoffs and push for a cup. Every year this team is built for that, and I'm excited, and I can't wait with the rule changes, the addition of 2 new teams, starting off against the PD Ice Cats. That's the first matchup we have for our home series, opening home series against the Ice Cats. Open on the road against the Quad City Storm for the millionth time in a row. I just come to expect that at this point. Don't even open up in Peoria anymore. It's always one game, and it's always in Quad City. But, it is what it is. I don't make the schedule. You just play the games that are in front of you and do what you can to win. So, again, excited for the upcoming season. I'm gonna wrap it up from here. Thank you again for watching and supporting the videos I make. It is greatly appreciated. Till next time, catch you at the next puck drop. And obviously, you guys know I always keep it Rivermen style. Thank you.